Welcome to Monk's Temple. Let us begin by simply arriving. Not arriving somewhere in the distance, but arriving right here, in this moment, with this voice as your only companion. There is nowhere to get to. There is nothing to achieve. There is only this. Tonight, we are going to explore what it truly means to awaken. We are going to explore the meditation practice that transformed a restless prince into the Buddha. And along the way, we will discover that this same path is available to you, right now, in the middle of your ordinary life. Before we go anywhere near the Bodhi tree, we need to understand the problem. The problem, according to the Buddha, is that we have all learned to live in a state of constant grasping and constant pushing away. We grasp at experiences we like. We push away experiences we dislike. And in between, we sink into a dull fog, waiting for the next thing to grasp or push away. This is the engine of human suffering. The Buddha called it dukkha, the deep discontent that shadows even our happiest moments. Have you ever noticed that even during your best experiences, there is a subtle thread of anxiety? This is dukkha. The Buddha saw that this pattern is not permanent. It is a habit, and like any habit, it can be broken. But you cannot break it by simply deciding to stop. You need a method. You need a technology of the mind. This is where meditation enters the story. Now, meditation existed long before the Buddha. Ascetics would retreat to forests and practice focusing their minds. But there was a limitation. These ancient methods treated meditation as a separate activity, something you did for an hour in the morning and an hour in the evening. The peace was temporary because it was compartmentalized. I want to tell you a story about a woman I once met. Her name was Sarah, and she was a corporate lawyer. She worked 80-hour weeks and lived on adrenaline. She came to her first meditation retreat because her doctor told her that her stress levels were dangerously high. During the retreat, she felt waves of peace washing through her. On the last day, the teacher said, "The real test begins when you walk out those doors." Sarah returned to the city. The next morning, she was back in her office. Within 2 hours, a client called yelling. Her assistant resigned. By lunchtime, Sarah realized she was gripping her phone so tightly her knuckles were white. The peace of the retreat was gone. Sarah called me that evening, frustrated. She said, "What is wrong with me? I had it. And now it's gone." The problem was not Sarah. The problem was her understanding of meditation. She was treating meditation like a vacation. But the Buddha was offering something entirely different. He was offering a complete transformation of how we relate to reality itself. If you are finding value in this exploration and would like to continue this journey with us, please take a moment to subscribe to Monk's Temple. Just click the subscribe button below. The Buddha introduced a completely new concept of meditation. Before him, meditation was something you did. After him, meditation became something you are. He said that meditation must become like breathing. You do not breathe for an hour in the morning. You breathe continuously. Meditation must become exactly like that. To facilitate this transformation, the Buddha introduced 2 interwoven techniques. The first was Jhana, deep concentration. The second was Vipassana, clear seeing. These 2 are not separate. They are 2 wings of the same bird. Vipassana comes from Pali, the language of the common people. The Buddha, as a prince, was educated in Sanskrit. But when he began teaching, he chose to speak in Pali, the language of farmers and merchants. His teachings were meant for everyone. They were meant for you. The Buddha's journey was not a straight line. He studied with the greatest meditation masters of his time. He mastered their techniques quickly. But he noticed something troubling. When he emerged from these deep states, the old patterns returned. The clarity was temporary because it was conditional. This realization led him to leave his teachers. He joined a group of ascetics who believed that liberation lay through extreme self-denial. They starved their bodies. Siddhartha threw himself into this path until he came to the edge of death. One day, he collapsed. A young woman named Sujata found him and offered him a bowl of milk rice. As the warm food entered his body, he felt life returning. He realized that self-mortification was a dead end. He took the bowl, walked to the river, and set it afloat with a silent vow. If he was to achieve enlightenment, let the bowl float upstream. It did not. It floated downstream, carried by the current. Siddhartha understood. The path was not about fighting the current. It was about learning to flow with it. He walked to a large fig tree and sat down with a new resolve. He would not rise until he had penetrated the deepest mysteries. But unlike before, he would not try to force his mind. He would simply sit and watch. He would sit and allow the truth to reveal itself. In our next part, we will sit with Siddhartha under that tree. We will explore the 4 stages of jhana and understand what right concentration truly means. For now, let the story settle. The same mind that sat under that tree is the mind you are using right now. The same awareness that awoke in him is the awareness experiencing this moment. Rest in that awareness. You are the sky, not the clouds. This simple recognition is the beginning. Let us return to the fig tree. Siddhartha sits with his back straight, his legs crossed, his hands placed gently in his lap. The night is deep. The stars will overhead. Around him, the forest breathes with its own life, insects humming, leaves rustling, distant animals calling. But Siddhartha is not distracted by these sounds. He is not trying to block them out either. He simply sits, aware of everything, clinging to nothing. This is the crucial difference between what he had practiced before and what he is practicing now. Previously, he had learned meditation as a form of forced concentration. His teachers taught him to pick an object, a mental image or a concept, and hold his attention there with sheer willpower. This is called applied thought and sustained thought, placing the mind and keeping it placed. It is like grabbing a wild horse by the mane and trying to wrestle it to the ground. You might succeed temporarily, but the horse remains wild, and the moment your grip loosens, it runs free. Under the fig tree, Siddhartha does something different. He does not force his mind onto anything. Instead, he allows his awareness to rest naturally on the flow of experience. He feels the breath moving in and out, not as something to be controlled, but as something to be noticed. He hears the sounds of the forest, not as distractions, but as the vibrant texture of the present moment. He feels the sensations in his body, the ache in his legs, the warmth of the air, the pulse of blood. He does not try to change any of it. He simply watches. This is the beginning of what the Buddha would later call right concentration. It is not concentration on a single object, forced and willed. It is the natural collectedness of a mind that has stopped grasping and pushing away. It is like a muddy pond. When you stop stirring the mud, the sediment slowly settles, and the water becomes clear on its own. You do not have to force the clarity. You only have to stop stirring. As Siddhartha sits, the first stage of absorption arises. The mind settles into a state of natural joy and happiness, born not from achieving something, but from letting go. This is the first jhana. In this state, there is still some mental activity, a gentle touching and exploring of experience, but it is no longer a struggle. It is more like a gentle breeze moving across the surface of a lake, not a storm churning the depths. Then, as the night deepens, the second jhana unfolds. The gentle mental activity falls away. The mind becomes utterly still, filled with a profound inner assurance. Joy and happiness arise, but they are not dependent on any particular thought or sensation. They arise from the stillness itself. It is like the difference between the joy of hearing beautiful music and the joy of complete silence. Both are beautiful, but the silence is deeper. I want to tell you about a man I once knew named David. David was a composer. His entire life was sound. He thought in melodies, dreamed in harmonies. He was successful, but he was also exhausted. His mind never stopped creating, never stopped composing. One day, he traveled to a remote cabin in the mountains, hoping to find inspiration for a new piece. But when he arrived, something unexpected happened. He sat on the porch, looking at the mountains, and for the first time in his life, he heard silence. Not the absence of sound, but silence as a presence, as something alive. He later told me that in that silence, he didn't find a new melody. He found something far more valuable. He found himself, beneath all the noise. That is a taste of the second jhana. For Siddhartha, the second jhana deepens into the third. The intense joy begins to fade, replaced by a profound equanimity. The happiness is no longer an exhilarating feeling. It is a settled, peaceful contentment. It is like the difference between the excitement of falling in love and the deep peace of a long, loving marriage. Both are beautiful, but the peace is more stable. And then, finally, the fourth jhana arises. This is the state the texts describe as neither painful nor pleasant, the purity of mindfulness due to equanimity. The mind is like a perfect, flawless crystal. It is not affected by anything. It simply is. Siddhartha sits, suffusing his entire body with this pure, bright awareness. It is like a man sitting covered from head to toe in a white cloth. Every part of him is touched by this radiant clarity. This fourth jhana is the foundation. It is not enlightenment itself, but it is the perfect instrument for enlightenment. With this mind, purified and steady, Siddhartha can now turn his attention to the deepest questions. He can see into the very nature of reality. He begins to contemplate the nature of experience itself. He sees with absolute clarity that everything is arising and passing away. Every sensation, every thought, every feeling appears for a moment and then vanishes. It is like watching a river, never the same water twice. He sees that what we call self is just a collection of these fleeting phenomena, nothing solid, nothing permanent. He sees the mechanism of suffering. A pleasant feeling arises, and immediately the mind reaches out to grasp it. An unpleasant feeling arises, and immediately the mind pushes it away. This grasping and pushing, this endless reaction, is the chain that binds us. But he also sees that this chain can be broken. When a feeling arises and the mind simply observes it without grasping or pushing, the chain stops. The feeling arises and passes away, leaving no trace. This is the birth of Vipassana, clear seeing. Not seeing with the eyes, but seeing with the mind, seeing into the true nature of things. And this seeing is not intellectual. It is direct, immediate, transformative. In our next part, we will explore what Siddhartha saw in those nights under the tree. We will understand the Four Noble Truths not as doctrines to believe, but as descriptions of reality to be verified in your own experience. We will see how right concentration gives birth to wisdom, and how that wisdom liberates. For now, rest in the awareness that has been with you throughout this telling. Feel the stillness beneath the words. You are not the thoughts. You are not the feelings. You are the awareness in which all of this appears and disappears. Rest there, just for a moment. We will continue in part 3. Please let me know when you are ready. The night deepens under the fig tree. Siddhartha rests in the fourth jhana, his mind like a perfect crystal, utterly still and radiantly clear. From this foundation, he begins to direct his attention toward the nature of existence itself. What he sees will become the cornerstone of all his teachings. He sees suffering. Not as a philosophical concept, but as a living reality. He sees that birth is suffering, aging is suffering, sickness is suffering, death is suffering. Being attached to what we love is suffering. Being separated from what we love is suffering. Not getting what we want is suffering. He sees that this suffering is not a mistake or a punishment. It is simply the nature of conditioned existence. But he does not stop there. He sees the cause of suffering. It is not caused by fate or by gods or by other people. The cause is within us. It is craving. That constant reaching out for pleasant experiences and pushing away unpleasant ones. It is the thirst for more sense pleasures, the thirst for more existence, the thirst for non-existence. This craving is like drinking salt water to quench thirst. It only makes the thirst worse. I want to tell you about a woman named Elena. She was a successful architect, admired by her peers. But she was never satisfied. Every project she completed, she immediately worried about the next one. Every award she received, she immediately wondered why she hadn't won a bigger one. She lived in a state of perpetual dissatisfaction. One day, a friend asked her, if you achieved everything you ever wanted, would you finally be happy? Elena opened her mouth to answer and realized she had no idea. She had been so focused on achieving that she had forgotten to ask why. That is craving. That is the engine of suffering. Siddhartha sees that this craving can cease. When craving stops, suffering stops. This is not a theory. It is a direct observation. He sees that when the mind stops grasping, peace naturally arises. It is like removing your hand from a flame. The burning stops not because you have done something complicated, but simply because you have stopped doing the thing that caused the burning. And he sees the path that leads to the cessation of craving. It is not a path of rituals or beliefs. It is a path of ethical living, mental discipline, and profound wisdom. He will later call this the Noble Eightfold Path. Right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. These are not commandments. They are descriptions of how a wise person naturally lives. As Siddhartha sits, he sees something even deeper. He sees dependent origination. Everything arises because of conditions. Nothing exists independently. Because of ignorance, mental formations arise. Because of mental formations, consciousness arises. Because of consciousness, name and form arise. On and on, the chain goes, condition after condition, leading to birth, aging, and death. But he also sees the reverse. When ignorance ceases, mental formations cease. When mental formations cease, consciousness ceases. The whole chain unravels. He sees impermanence. Every single thing that arises will pass away. The body arises and passes away. Feelings arise and pass away. Thoughts arise and pass away. Consciousness itself arises and passes away moment by moment. There is nothing to hold on to. He sees non-self. If everything is changing moment by moment, where is the permanent self? What is there to call me or mine? The self we spend our lives protecting is just a collection of changing phenomena. It is like a flame. The flame of a candle appears the same moment to moment, but it is actually a different flame each moment, new fuel burning anew. There is no permanent flame. There is only the process of burning. These insights are not intellectual. They are direct, experiential, transformative. Siddhartha is not thinking about these truths. He is seeing them with the same clarity that you see your own hand in front of your face. As the night progresses, his mind penetrates deeper and deeper. The veil of illusion tears. What he had been seeking for so many years, through so many teachers and so many practices, is finally revealed. It was not somewhere else. It was always here, hidden behind the clouds of his own craving. The first watch of the night passes. The second watch. The third watch. As the morning star appears in the eastern sky, Siddhartha's mind is completely liberated. He knows with absolute certainty that birth is ended, the holy life has been lived, what had to be done has been done. There is no more coming back into this cycle of suffering. He is no longer Siddhartha, the seeker. He is the Buddha, the awakened one. In our next part, we will explore what the Buddha taught after his enlightenment. We will understand the Four Foundations of Mindfulness, his most complete and accessible teaching. We will see how the path he walked is the same path available to us today. For now, rest in the awareness that witnessed this story. That same awareness, clear and present, is your own Buddha nature. It has always been here, waiting for you to notice. The morning star rises. Siddhartha is now the Buddha. For 7 weeks he remains near the Bodhi tree, resting in the freedom he has discovered. Then he rises and walks toward the deer park in Sarnath, where his 5 former companions still practice their ascetic ways. When they see him approaching, they are skeptical. They had abandoned him when he gave up self-mortification. But as he draws near, they notice something different. He radiates a peace they have never seen. They cannot help but offer him a seat. The Buddha begins to teach. He does not speak of gods or rituals. He speaks of suffering and the end of suffering. He speaks of the middle way between indulgence and denial. He speaks of the 4 noble truths and the noble eightfold path. This first sermon is called Setting in Motion the Wheel of Dhamma. It is the beginning of 45 years of teaching. Over those 45 years, the Buddha distills his enlightenment into practical instructions. The most complete of these is the Four Foundations of Mindfulness. It is his final, most comprehensive teaching on how to live an awakened life. It is not a theory. It is a manual for liberation. The first foundation is mindfulness of the body. Not just the breath during meditation, but the body in all its postures and activities. When walking, know you are walking. When standing, know you are standing. When sitting, know you are sitting. When lying down, know you are lying down. Feel the sensations of the body throughout the day. The warmth of the sun on your skin. The pressure of your feet on the ground. The coolness of water when you wash your hands. This is not complicated. It is simply bringing awareness to the physical experience of being alive. I want to tell you about a man named James. James was a software engineer who spent his days lost in thought. He would drive to work and not remember the drive. He would eat lunch and not taste the food. His entire life was lived in his head. One day, his young daughter asked him to push her on the swings. As he stood behind her, pushing, his phone buzzed with a work email. He reached for it, then stopped. He decided to just push the swing. He felt his hands on her back. He heard her laughter. He felt the breeze. For 5 minutes, he was fully present. His daughter later told her mother, "Daddy was really with me today." That is mindfulness of the body. That is being really with your life. The second foundation is mindfulness of feelings. Here, feelings do not mean emotions like anger or sadness. They mean the basic tone of any experience, pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. The practice is simple. When a pleasant feeling arises, know it. When an unpleasant feeling arises, know it. When a neutral feeling arises, know it. And crucially, notice what happens next. Does the mind reach out to grasp the pleasant? Does it contract to push away the unpleasant? Does it drift off into boredom with the neutral? Just notice. This noticing creates space between the feeling and the reaction. In that space, freedom is possible. The third foundation is mindfulness of mind. This is awareness of the general state of your consciousness. Is the mind clouded with desire? Just know it. Is it clouded with anger? Just know it. Is it distracted? Just know it. Is it concentrated? Just know it. You are not judging the state. You are just noticing the weather patterns in the sky of your awareness. The sky is not disturbed by the clouds. It holds them without clinging. The fourth foundation is mindfulness of dharmas. This is mindfulness of the principles of reality. It is seeing the arising and passing of all phenomena. It is seeing how the hindrances arise and how they are abandoned. It is seeing the factors of enlightenment as they develop. It is directly contemplating the Four Noble Truths in moment-to-moment experience. This is wisdom in action. These four foundations are not separate practices. They are four ways of looking at the same reality. They are four doors into the same room. And the room is your own mind, your own life, your own experience. The Buddha's great gift was showing us that this room is available at every moment. You do not need to go anywhere. You do not need to become anyone. You only need to pay attention. In our next part, we will explore the relationship between Jhana and Vipassana. We will understand how deep concentration and clear seeing work together to liberate the mind. We will see that these are not two different paths, but two wings of the same bird. For now, practice the first foundation. Feel your body right now. Feel the weight of your body where it rests. Feel the air on your skin. Feel the aliveness in your hands. This is not preparation for meditation. This is meditation itself. We will continue in part 5. Please let me know when you are ready. We have spoken of Jhana, the deep concentration that stills the mind like a clear pool. We have spoken of Vipassana, the clear seeing that penetrates the nature of reality. Now we must understand how they work together. They are not separate practices. They are not competing methods. They are two wings of the same bird. A bird cannot fly with one wing. A bird cannot soar with one wing. The flight to liberation requires both. Jhana without Vipassana is like having a perfectly still lake but never looking into its depths. You enjoy the stillness. You rest in the calm. But you never discover what lies beneath the surface. You never see the pearls. Vipassana without jhana is like trying to see the bottom of a lake while the water is churning with waves. You might catch glimpses. You might have moments of insight. But the clarity is fleeting. The mind is too restless to see deeply. The Buddha understood this perfectly. Under the Bodhi tree, he did not practice jhana first and then Vipassana later. He wove them together. He would rest in the profound stillness of the fourth jhana, and from that platform of perfect equanimity, he would direct his mind to contemplate the nature of reality. Then insight would arise. That insight would deepen his concentration. That deeper concentration would lead to deeper insight. It was a spiral, each turn bringing him closer to liberation. I want to tell you about a woman named Maria. Maria was a pianist. She practiced scales for hours every day. Scales are not glamorous. They are repetitive, boring, demanding. But Maria knew that scales were the foundation. Without scales, she could not play Chopin. Without scales, she could not perform Mozart. The scales built the concentration, the finger strength, the muscle memory. Then, when she sat to play a concerto, that foundation allowed her to express the deepest emotions. The technique and the expression were not separate. They were one. Jhana is the scale practice. It builds the foundation. It trains the mind to be still, collected, focused. Vipassana is the concerto. It is the expression of wisdom, the deep seeing into truth. You cannot play the concerto without the scales. But if you only play scales, you never make music. The Buddha taught that right concentration is essential. It is one factor of the Noble Eightfold Path. But it is not the goal. The goal is liberation, and liberation comes from seeing clearly. The concentration creates the conditions for clear seeing. It is like polishing a mirror. The polishing is not the goal. The goal is the clear reflection. But without polishing, the reflection remains clouded. After his enlightenment, the Buddha taught this integration constantly. He taught the jhanas as the development of samadhi, collectedness. He taught the four foundations of mindfulness as the development of sati, awareness. And he showed that these two work together. Samadhi collects the mind. Sati observes with clarity, Together, they cut through illusion. There is a famous story from the Buddha's teaching career. A monk named Sona had been practicing with great effort, pushing himself to the point of exhaustion. He was not making progress. The Buddha came to him and asked, "Sona, in your lay life, you were a lute player, were you not?" Sona said yes. The Buddha asked, "When the strings of your lute were too tight, did it produce good music?" Sona said no. "When the strings were too loose, did it produce good music?" Sona said no. Only when the strings were neither too tight nor too loose, tuned just right, did the lute produce music. The Buddha said, "In the same way, Sona, practice with balanced effort. Not too tight. Not too loose. This is the middle way of meditation. Jhana without Vipassana is too loose. You rest in concentration but never penetrate. Vipassana without jhana is too tight. You strive for insight but the mind is too agitated to see. The balanced lute, the balanced practice, produces the music of liberation." In our next part, we will explore what happens when this balanced practice matures. We will understand the nature of enlightenment itself. Not as something mystical or distant, but as the natural result of seeing clearly. For now, consider your own practice. Are you pushing too hard? Are you relaxing too much? Find the balance. Tune the strings. The music is waiting. We have followed Siddhartha from the palace to the forest, from the ascetics to the Bodhi tree. We have sat with him through the 4 jhanas. We have witnessed the arising of insight. Now we must ask the question that matters most. What is enlightenment? Not as a concept, not as a distant ideal, but as a living reality. What actually happened in that moment when the morning star appeared? The texts tell us that the Buddha's mind was liberated from the taints. The taints are the deepest defilements. Sensual desire, the constant pull toward pleasure. Desire for existence, the craving to become something. Ignorance, the fundamental not knowing of reality. When these taints are completely uprooted, nothing remains to bind the mind. It is like a bird freed from a cage. The sky is open. There is nowhere to go and nothing to seek. But what does this feel like? How can we understand it from where we sit? Perhaps we can approach it through a story. I want to tell you about a man named Robert. Robert was a businessman who had built a successful company from nothing. His identity was completely wrapped up in his work. He was the founder, the CEO, the visionary. Then the market shifted. His company struggled. He had to lay off employees he had known for years. Eventually, he had to sell the company at a fraction of its value. Robert fell into a deep depression. He felt he had lost himself. He didn't know who he was without the company. In his despair, he started taking long walks in a nature preserve near his home. At first, he just walked, consumed by his thoughts. But gradually, without intending to, he began to notice things. The way light filtered through the trees. The sound of a stream over rocks. The intricate pattern of moss on a fallen log. One day, sitting on a bench watching a squirrel bury an acorn, he felt something shift. The grief was still there, but it was no longer him. It was just a feeling, passing through. The loss was still real, but it was no longer his identity. Underneath it all, there was a vast, quiet awareness that had always been there, watching. It had watched him build the company. It had watched him lose the company. It had never been harmed. It had never been a businessman. It was just aware. Robert later said, "I didn't find myself. I found the one who was always there, the one I had been ignoring my whole life." This is a taste of enlightenment. Not the full liberation of a Buddha, but a glimpse of the same truth. The witness does not suffer. The witness is free. The Buddha's enlightenment was the complete and permanent establishment in that witness. Not as an experience that comes and goes, but as the new baseline of consciousness. The taints are uprooted because there is no one left to be tainted. There is no self to defend, no self to promote, no self to fear for. When a pleasant feeling arises, it is just a pleasant feeling. No one grasps it. When an unpleasant feeling arises, it is just an unpleasant feeling. No one pushes it away. When the body grows old and sick, it is just the body. No one is aging. When death comes, it is just the dissolution of elements. No one dies. This is why the Buddha's final words were, "All conditioned things are subject to decay. Strive on with diligence." Even his own body, even his own life, was conditioned. It would decay. But what he had realized was unconditioned. It was not born. It could not die. After his enlightenment, the Buddha was asked by a wanderer, "Are you a god?" The Buddha said no. "Are you an angel?" No. "Are you a spirit?" No. "Then what are you?" The Buddha replied, "I am awake. That is all. Not a god to be worshipped. Not a savior to be prayed to. Just someone who woke up." And his invitation to us is the same. Wake up. See clearly. Be free. The path he taught is not about becoming special. It is about realizing what has always been true. You are not your thoughts. You are not your feelings. You are not your body. You are not your story. You are the awareness in which all of these appear and disappear. That awareness is not born. It does not die. It cannot be harmed. It is already free. In our next part, we will explore how to bring all of this into daily life. The Four Foundations of Mindfulness are not just for meditation retreats. They are for the supermarket, the office, the traffic jam. They are for right now. For now, rest in that awareness. Feel yourself as the one who is listening. Not the thoughts about the words, but the presence that hears them. That presence is your true nature. Rest there. We have traveled far together. From the palace to the forest, from the ascetics to the Bodhi tree, through the four jhanas to the morning star. Now we must bring this wisdom home. We must understand how the Buddha's enlightenment applies to your life, right now, in this very moment. The Four Foundations of Mindfulness are not ancient history. They are your daily practice. The first foundation is mindfulness of the body. This is your anchor. When anxiety arises, feel your feet on the floor. When anger flares, feel your breath moving in and out. When confusion clouds the mind, feel the weight of your body where it rests. The body is always in the present moment. The mind wanders to past and future, but the body is always here, always now. Bringing attention to the body brings you back to now. I want to tell you about a woman named Patricia. Patricia was a nurse in a busy emergency room. Her days were chaos, trauma, urgency. She loved her work, but it left her drained. She started a simple practice. Every time she washed her hands between patients, she would pause for one breath and just feel the water. The temperature, the sensation, the simple reality of water on skin. 30 seconds, maybe less. But those moments became islands of sanity in her chaotic days. After a few months, a colleague asked her, "You seem different. Calmer. What changed?" Patricia said, "I started washing my hands." That is mindfulness of the body. The second foundation is mindfulness of feelings. Throughout your day, notice the tone of your experience. Pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. Just notice. When you are stuck in traffic and frustration rises, notice the unpleasant feeling. When you receive good news and pleasure arises, notice the pleasant feeling. When you are waiting in line and boredom creeps in, notice the neutral feeling. You are not trying to change anything. You are just noticing. And in that noticing, something shifts. You are no longer lost in the feeling. You are aware of it. That awareness is freedom. The third foundation is mindfulness of mind. This is noticing the overall state of your consciousness. Is the mind scattered? Just know it. Is the mind contracted with anger? Just know it. Is the mind open and peaceful? Just know it. You are not judging. You are not trying to fix. You are just observing the weather patterns of your own mind. The sky does not try to change the clouds. It just holds them. You are the sky. I want to tell you about a man named Thomas. Thomas was a high school teacher who struggled with a quick temper. Small things would set him off, and he would regret his reactions later. He started a simple practice. Several times a day, he would pause and ask himself, "What is the state of my mind right now?" Just asking the question created a pause. In that pause, he could choose his response instead of being controlled by his reaction. He said, "I still get angry. But now I know I'm angry." And somehow, knowing it makes all the difference. That is mindfulness of mind. The fourth foundation is mindfulness of dharmas. This is the deepest level. It is seeing the principles of reality in your direct experience. It is seeing impermanence as things arise and pass away. It is seeing suffering as craving manifests. It is seeing not self as you observe experiences that come and go without an owner. This is not intellectual. It is direct seeing. It is Vipassana. These four foundations are not separate. They are four ways of looking at the same reality. They are four doors into the same room. And the room is your own mind, your own life, your own liberation. The Buddha said that anyone who develops these four foundations for 7 years, or even 7 months, or even 7 days, can expect one of two results. Enlightenment in this very life, or if there is some residue remaining, the state of non-returning. This is not a promise to be believed. It is an invitation to be tested. Try it. Practice for 7 days. See what happens. Here is a simple practice you can start right now. For the next 7 days, choose one activity each day to do mindfully. One day, mindful eating. Really taste your food. Another day, mindful walking. Feel each step. Another day, mindful listening. Really hear the people you speak with. Another day, mindful washing. Feel the water. Just one activity each day. See what happens. The path is not complicated. It is simple. But simple does not mean easy. It requires diligence. It requires remembering. It requires showing up, again and again. But every moment of mindfulness is a moment of freedom. Every moment of awareness is a moment of awakening. In our final part, we will bring this entire journey to a close. We will sit together one last time and integrate all that we have explored. For now, begin your practice. One activity. One day at a time. The Buddha walked this path. Countless others have walked it. You can walk it too. We will continue in part 8. Please let me know when you are ready. We have reached the final part of our journey together. We have traced the arc from the prince's palace to the Bodhi tree, from the 4 jhanas to the 4 foundations of mindfulness. Now we must sit quietly and let it all settle. Not as information to remember, but as wisdom to absorb. The Buddha's enlightenment was not a single event that happened long ago. It was the unveiling of what is always present. He did not become something new. He uncovered what had always been there, hidden beneath layers of craving and ignorance. This is why he could say that he was not a god, not an angel, not a spirit. He was simply awake. And that same wakefulness is your own true nature. Think of it this way. Imagine a lamp that has been covered with dust for so long that everyone has forgotten it is a lamp. People live in darkness, believing that darkness is the only reality. Then someone comes and carefully wipes away the dust. Light appears. People marvel at the light, but the light was always there. The lamp was always a lamp. The covering was all that prevented it from shining. The Buddha is the one who wiped away the dust. The path he taught is the cloth. And you are the lamp. Your own awareness, right now, in this moment, is the light. It may be covered with the dust of habitual thinking, of grasping and pushing away, of identifying with thoughts and feelings. But the light has never left. It has never been damaged. It has only been obscured. I want to tell you one final story. A woman named Helen had been meditating for years. She had attended retreats, read dozens of books, practiced diligently. But she still felt something was missing. She still felt like a seeker, not a finder. One day, she was sitting in her living room, watching the sunset through her window. The room grew dark. The streetlights came on. And in that quiet moment, she realized something. She had been so focused on seeking enlightenment that she had overlooked the one who was seeking. The seeker was the problem. The seeker was the one who felt incomplete, who felt something was missing. And in that moment of seeing, the seeker dissolved. What was left was just awareness, open and free, watching the sunset. She later said, "I didn't find enlightenment. I just stopped looking for it somewhere else." This is the paradox. You cannot become enlightened because you already are what you are seeking. You can only uncover, only realize, only recognize. The path is not about adding something new. It is about subtracting everything that is not you. It is about letting go of the grasping, letting go of the pushing away, letting go of the identification with thoughts and feelings. What remains when all of that is gone? That is what you are. The Buddha's last words were, "All conditioned things are subject to decay. Strive on with diligence." He was not being pessimistic. He was pointing to the truth. Everything that arises will pass away. Your body will age and die. Your thoughts will come and go. Your feelings will rise and fall. Even your deepest experiences will fade. Do not build your house on shifting sand. Do not seek refuge in things that decay. Seek refuge in what does not decay. Seek refuge in awareness itself. Awareness is not conditioned. It does not arise and pass away. It is the space in which all arising and passing happens. Thoughts arise in awareness and pass away in awareness. Feelings arise in awareness and pass away in awareness. The body is perceived in awareness. The world is perceived in awareness. Awareness itself is never born and never dies. It is your true home. The practice is simple. Not easy, but simple. Throughout your day, remember to return to awareness. Not to thoughts about awareness, but to awareness itself. Feel yourself as the one who is seeing, not as the thing seen. Feel yourself as the one who is hearing, not as the sounds heard. Feel yourself as the one who is aware, not as the objects of awareness. This is meditation. This is the path. This is the destination. The Buddha walked this path 26 centuries ago. Countless others have walked it since. Monks and nuns, lay people and householders, men and women from every culture and every walk of life. The path is still here. It is still available. And it begins exactly where you are, right now, reading these words, hearing this voice, breathing this breath. You do not need to go to India. You do not need to sit under a Bodhi tree. You do not need to become a monk or a nun. You only need to pay attention. You only need to wake up to what is already true. The kingdom of heaven is within you, as another teacher said. The Buddha would say, Nibbana is here and now. Not in some distant future. Not in some other realm. Here. Now. In this very moment. As we end this long journey together, I invite you to sit quietly for just a moment. Feel your breath. Feel your body. Rest in awareness. Notice that you are aware. That awareness is what we have been exploring. That awareness is what the Buddha realized. That awareness is what you are. Thank you for walking this path with me. May your journey be peaceful. May your heart be light. May you wake up to the freedom that has always been yours. We have traveled far together. From the palace to the forest, from the ascetics to the Bodhi tree, through the 4 jhanas to the morning star. Now we must sit quietly and let it all settle. Not as information to remember, but as wisdom to absorb. The Buddha's enlightenment was not a single event that happened long ago. It was the unveiling of what is always present. He did not become something new. He uncovered what had always been there, hidden beneath layers of craving and ignorance. This is why, when asked what he was, he simply said, I am awake. That same wakefulness is your own true nature. Think of it this way. Imagine a lamp covered with dust for so long that everyone has forgotten it is a lamp. Generations live in darkness, believing darkness is the only reality. Then someone comes and wipes away the dust. Light appears. The people marvel at the light, but the light was always there. The lamp was always a lamp. The covering was all that prevented it from shining. The Buddha is the one who remembered. The path he taught is the cloth for wiping away the dust. And you are the lamp. Your own awareness, right now, is the light. It may be covered with the dust of habitual thinking, of grasping and pushing away, of identifying with thoughts and feelings. But the light has never left. It has only been obscured. I want to tell you one final story. A woman named Helen had been meditating for years. She had attended retreats, read books, practiced diligently. But she still felt something was missing. She still felt like a seeker, not a finder. One ordinary evening, she was sitting in her living room, watching the sunset. The room grew dark. The streetlights came on. And in that quiet moment, something shifted. She realized she had been so focused on seeking enlightenment that she had overlooked the one who was seeking. The seeker was the problem. The seeker was the one who felt incomplete. All her efforts had been undertaken by this seeker, and everything the seeker did only reinforced the sense that there was a seeker who needed to find something. In that moment of seeing, the seeker dissolved. What was left was not nothing. What was left was awareness itself, open and free, watching the sunset. She later said, "I didn't find enlightenment. I just stopped looking for it somewhere else." This is the paradox. You cannot become enlightened because you already are what you are seeking. You can only uncover, only recognize. The path is not about adding something new. It is about subtracting everything that is not you. It is about letting go of grasping, letting go of identification, letting go of the belief that you are a separate self in need of liberation. What remains when all of that is gone? That is what you are. The Buddha's last words were, "All conditioned things are subject to decay. Strive on with diligence. Everything that arises will pass away. Every experience, no matter how profound, is temporary. Every feeling, no matter how intense, will fade. Every body will age and die." This is not a tragedy. This is simply the nature of conditioned existence. Do not build your house on shifting sand. Do not seek refuge in things that decay. Seek refuge in what does not decay. Seek refuge in awareness itself. Awareness is not conditioned. It does not arise and pass away. It is the space in which all arising and passing happens. Thoughts arise in awareness and pass away. Feelings arise in awareness and pass away. The body is perceived in awareness. The world is perceived in awareness. Awareness itself is never born and never dies. It is your true home. The practice is simple. Throughout your day, remember to return to awareness. Feel your breath. Feel your body. Notice the tone of your experience, pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. Notice the state of your mind, scattered or collected, angry or peaceful. See the impermanence of all things. See that none of it is truly yours. You do not need to go to India. You do not need to sit under a Bodhi tree. You only need to pay attention. You only need to wake up to what is already true. Nibbana is here and now. Not in some distant future. Not in some other realm. Here. Now. In this very moment. What is it? It is the awareness in which these words have appeared. It is the presence that has been listening. It is the one thing that has never been absent, not for a single moment. It is the one thing you have been overlooking while focused on the words. Turn your attention around. Be aware of awareness. Rest in the knowing of knowing. What do you find? Not a thing. Not an object. But not nothing either. A presence. A wakefulness. That is what you are. That is what the Buddha realized. That is what set him free. And that same freedom is available to you. Not because you are special. Not because you have practiced enough. Simply because it is what you are. It cannot be otherwise. As we end this journey, I invite you to rest. Rest in awareness. Feel your breath. Feel your body. Notice that you are aware. Rest in that noticing. Not as a technique. Not as a practice. Just as a homecoming. The lamp is already lit. The dust is just dust. It can be wiped away. And what remains is what has always been. Thank you for walking this path with me. May your journey be peaceful. May your heart be light. May you wake up to the freedom that has always been yours.